The 2021 NFL Draft had some big names. Trevor Lawrence was the generational can't-miss quarterback. Zach Wilson had all the arm talent in the world, and a few of the picks have paid off in a big way. But others are already fighting for backup spots, and some are even on their third team in 4 years. So today we're looking at the top 10 players chosen to see how they've done so far. Trevor Lawrence came into the NFL with more hype than any quarterback has had in years, and it's really not a surprise why. He was an animal at Clemson. 10,098 passing yards and 90 touchdowns in 3 years, plus a national championship in 2018. The guy basically didn't lose, and everybody thought he was going to be the one to save Jacksonville. His rookie year, though, yeah, that did not go as planned. Lawrence threw for 3,641 yards, but only managed 12 touchdowns to a league-leading 17 interceptions. Not exactly what you want to see from a so-called generational talent. But the blame certainly can't all be pinned on him. Their head coach that season, Urban Meyer, created a very toxic environment, was a terrible role model, and really didn't even give his players a chance to succeed. Once that mess was behind Lawrence and Doug Peterson took over, Lawrence looked like a totally different player. Over the course of the season, he completed 66.3% of his passes with 25 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions. He also made his first Pro Bowl appearance and came in 7th for MVP voting. And that playoff game against the Chargers, I don't know if anybody could have seen that one coming. 4 interceptions in the first half, then 4 touchdown passes to make an incredible comeback and win the game 31-30. The guy's got some serious fight in him, you gotta give him that. Since then, though, he's kind of been all over the place. He took a step back in 2023, then last season he missed 7 of the final 8 games of the year, and the Jags went 2-8 when he did play. That nasty concussion against the Texans is definitely not what the Jags wanted to see when you sign a guy to a $275 billion contract extension either. I mean, even at the time, people thought that deal might be a bad move.
I will be honest. Shocked, appalled, stunned, flabbergasted, if you will, to see Trevor Lawrence sign that deal at this junction in time.
But now he's going to have Travis Hunter to throw to alongside Brian Thomas Jr., which very well could turn into one of the best receiving duos in the league. And Lawrence will only be 26 years old during the 2025 season. At that age, guys like Aaron Rodgers and Phillip Rivers were only playing their second season as starters. The guy's got time, but this next season is going to be very important for sure. Zach Wilson's story has honestly been painful to watch unfold. Coming out of BYU in 2020, the guy had everything going for him. 3,692 yards and 33 touchdowns with just 3 interceptions in his final college season. The Jets finally thought they found their franchise guy here. I mean, some analysts even had him ranked above Trevor Lawrence.
You know, when I watch Zach Wilson, Nate, I mean, I just look at it and go, well, I'm watching Aaron Rodgers. I'm watching Patrick Mahomes.
But reality hit hard. His rookie year was a major wake-up call. 69.7 passer rating, 2,334 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions while getting absolutely destroyed behind that offensive line. I mean, he was sacked 44 times for a league-leading 370 yards. You could literally see the panic creeping in game after game. Here's the thing with Wilson, though. On paper, he's got the arm talent. The physical tools are all there. He just doesn't have that spatial awareness that you need to survive in today's NFL. He doesn't seem to be able to process what's happening quite fast enough. The next 2 years were more the same mess for him. 9 games in 2022 with 1,688 yards and more interceptions than touchdowns. Then 2,271 yards in 2023 with only 8 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. To be fair, Wilson wasn't even supposed to start in 2023, but Aaron Rodgers had that Achilles injury in his very first game.
I feel terrible for him because this position that he's in right now is worse than last year.
Denver signed Wilson for 2024, but he never saw the field, and now he's Miami's backup on a 1-year deal. Definitely not what the Jets had in mind when they took him second overall. You want to talk about raw talent with nowhere to show it. That's Trey Lance's whole story so far. His college numbers at North Dakota State were pretty wild. 2,786 yards and 28 touchdowns with 0 interceptions in 2019. Plus he ran for 1,100 yards and 14 more scores. Then COVID wiped out his 2020 season after just one game. So the 49ers are sitting there thinking they are one quarterback away from winning multiple Super Bowls, and they decide to roll the dice. They traded up to 3rd overall based on his physical tools, basically betting that he could handle the jump from small school competition to the pro level. Since then, the guy's barely been on the field. He played just 6 games as a rookie with 603 passing yards and 6 total touchdowns due to him backing up Jimmy Garoppolo. Then most people thought he would break out for year 2, but unfortunately that did not happen. He played in only 2 games thanks to a brutal ankle injury with 194 passing yards and no touchdown passes. Lance didn't see the field at all in 2023, and then his 2024 preseason run with the Cowboys was a disaster. In a game against the Chargers, he went 33 for 49 for 323 yards, but he threw 5 interceptions, and his only start in the regular season was the very last week. Now he's on a 1-year deal with the Chargers for 2025, still trying to prove that he belongs in the league, but at this stage, nobody really trusts him to play well. Now we've got a player who was supposed to potentially change everything at the tight end position. Kyle Pitts came out of Florida looking great. 770 yards and 12 touchdowns in just 8 games during his final season. Year number 1, the hype looked real. Pitts made the Pro Bowl with 1,026 yards, showing off that crazy straight line speed for a guy with his size. He could make the contested catches, run past linebackers, everything looked perfect. And then it all fell apart. He dropped to just 356 yards in his second year, and his season was ruined by injuries, including a torn MCL that he suffered in Week 11 against the Bears. He had 667 yards in 2023 and then 602 during this past year. Over 4 years, he's only scored 10 total touchdowns, which is really rough for a top 5 pick. Now, of course, part of this was losing Matt Ryan, who could actually throw those deep balls with very good accuracy, and another part is that Arthur Smith was horrendous at getting his best players opportunities, so that did not help either. But there is definitely more going on here. Those injuries he had completely changed him as a player, and it's so frustrating to watch him week after week just saying to yourself, where is Kyle Pitts, man? And I have some hope that this upcoming year is going to be better for him. Michael Penix Jr. looked good at the end of the year, so hopefully he can help Pitts out and get him some more looks, but I feel like that's what I've been saying for the past 3 years now, so we're just going to have to wait and see. Now this right here is how you nail a draft pick. JaMarr Chase has been everything you want and more from a top 5 selection. At LSU, he only needed 2 years, but that 2019 run was insane. 1,780 yards and 20 touchdowns with Joe Burrow throwing you the ball, and then you got Justin Jefferson lining up on the other side of the field. That championship team was something special. Funny enough, people were actually worried about Chase dropping passes in the preseason before his rookie year. But once the regular season started, Chase made the doubters look very stupid. He went off for 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns, playing a huge part in Cincinnati's Super Bowl run. That Week 17 game against Kansas City, pure destruction. 266 yards and 3 touchdowns where he just could not be stopped. Since then, the guy's become one of the best receivers in all of football. We're talking 5,425 yards over the course of 4 years. This past year was his best yet. Won the Triple Crown with 127 catches, 1,708 yards, and 17 touchdowns.
Burrow has lots of time, and there's JaMarr Chase with the catch. Breaking tackles, Chase down the sidelines. They won't catch him.
And don't get me started on those games against Baltimore this year. In Week 10, a 264-yard explosion with 3 touchdowns. He's the first player ever to have multiple games with over 260 receiving yards. And once he gets the ball, he moves like a running back. He's so smooth in space, just glides past defenders. Chase has been everything Cincinnati has wanted and then some. It's really tough being very good at football, but the other receiver on your team is just a lot better. That's Jaylen Waddle's story right there, and don't get me wrong, I really like this guy, but that's just the honest truth. His college numbers at Alabama were not crazy. 1,999 yards over the course of 3 years with 17 touchdowns, but he did lead the SEC in yards per catch at 21.1 during his final season, and they won the national championship. Miami saw something they really liked here and took him 6th overall. Waddle was solid from day one. His rookie year, 1,015 yards, and 6 touchdowns. The guy could handle the NFL speed with no problems. Year 2 was even better, 1,356 yards, and he led the whole league in yards per catch at 18.1, plus 8 receiving touchdowns. You can see that deep threat ability on full display, and he followed that up with another 1,000-yard season in 2023 despite missing 3 games. This past year, he dipped to 744 yards, but I mean, a lot of that can be attributed to Tua going down for 6 games. Waddle isn't a bad player by any means. He's just severely overshadowed by Tyreek Hill almost every single time he steps onto the field. Those two do make a very good receiving duo though. Now let's talk about a guy who's been fantastic for a franchise on the rise. Penei Sewell has been straight up dominant. The dude was an All-American at Oregon in 2019, then sat out all of 2020 because of COVID before going into the draft. Detroit knew they were getting something special here, and man, Sewell has delivered. He played 16 of the 17 games as a rookie and made the Pro Bowl every single year since then. He's also been first-team All-Pro the last 2 years.
Penei Sewell is a rising star, an absolute physical freak.
The young stud, Penei Sewell, and that is a monster.
Last season, he even got votes for Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah. An offensive lineman got more votes than Patrick Mahomes. When's the last time you heard of that happening? Next Gen Stats says he's allowed the second lowest sack rate at 0.6% when playing right tackle since he's came into the league. Pro Football Focus gave him a 92.8 grade in 2023, which was the best among all tackles, and this past season, they gave him a 90.5 run blocking grade, second best among all tackles as well. Injuries are brutal, man. They can completely wreck what looks like a promising career. J.C. Horn's story so far has been the perfect example of that. His rookie season was basically done before it even got going. Just 3 games with a pick and 5 tackles before a foot fracture knocked him out for the year. For the first 3 years, Horn really wasn't living up to being the 8th overall pick. The injury bug just kept hitting him, and he just couldn't stay consistent. But this past year in 2024, that's when we saw the vision that Carolina had when they drafted this guy out of South Carolina. Horn finally stayed healthy and made his first Pro Bowl appearance, defending 13 passes, grabbing an interception, making 68 tackles, and even having 2 sacks as a cornerback. Those are the numbers that remind you why everybody was so excited about this dude. And the Panthers clearly like what they're seeing. They recently gave Horn a 4-year contract extension worth up to $100 million with $70 million guaranteed. At the time, it made him the highest paid cornerback in NFL history, although Derek Stingley Jr. has since taken that top spot. Simply put, when Horn is healthy, he is one of the most physical corners in the league. The guy can legitimately shut down half the field. His size, athleticism, and that aggressive style is a nightmare for opposing receivers. While Horn was dealing with all those injuries, Patrick Surtain II was quietly turning into one of the most dominant defensive players in all of football. His rookie year gave us just a little taste of what we were about to see. 4 interceptions, including a pick 6, plus 58 tackles. Denver knew that they had something very good on their hands. The consistency with this guy is just insane. Just like Sewell, Surtain has made the Pro Bowl every year since his rookie season and made his way onto the All-Pro first team twice. This past year, he even took it to a whole nother level, winning Defensive Player of the Year with more first-place votes than Trey Hendrickson, Myles Garrett, and TJ Watt combined.
Pat's probably one of the best corners I've seen with my own eyes.
Some sources, such as NFL on CBS, said that quarterbacks only managed a 39.1 passer rating when throwing at Surtain in 2024. But what really gets me, Surtain is the first Bronco in team history to get double-digit passes knocked down in each of his first 4 seasons. That's the kind of consistent excellence at cornerback that you just don't normally see. Denver absolutely crushed this pick. They got a legit shutdown cornerback who's already one of the best at his position. Okay, now to finish it off, we've got maybe the most accomplished player across every level of football. Devonta Smith's college resume is just ridiculous. National championship winner during his freshman year, Heisman Trophy winner in 2020 with 1,856 yards and 23 touchdowns, Maxwell Award winner, All-American. The dude absolutely torched Ohio State during his senior year in the championship game with 215 yards and 3 touchdowns, playing a huge part in his second national championship win, Philadelphia saw a proven winner here and grabbed him 10th overall. His rookie numbers were solid, 916 yards and 5 touchdowns, showing that he could bring that college success right to the pros. Year 2, 1,196 yards and 7 touchdowns. Then 1,066 yards and 7 more scores in 2023. This past season, he did dip a bit to 833 yards and 13 games, but he found the end zone 8 times and did help the Eagles win the Super Bowl. With the addition of Saquon Barkley dominating on the ground, then you have A.J. Brown being so great on the opposite side of the field, Smith just really does what you need him to do. You could honestly make a case for Smith as one of the most successful receivers ever so far across all levels. College championships in 2017 and 2020, the Heisman Trophy, and now a Super Bowl ring to the resume. His route running is awesome to watch, his ball tracking is elite, and his body control is right up there with the very best of them. He's quite short for an NFL wideout and very skinny, but the guy can jump up and catch the ball with perfect timing and then come down under control and secure it. If he's getting a hand on the ball, he's most likely catching it. That's what separates him from the bigger, more athletic guys who just rely on their physical tools. Now, obviously, today we only talked about the top 10 picks of the 2021 NFL Draft, but there are plenty more great players to come out of this class, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Micah Parsons, Landon Dickerson, Nico Collins, just to name a few of them. But as for the top 10 goes, some of these guys lived up to the hype, and a few of them reminded us that even can't-miss prospects can absolutely miss. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below, just like always. Which of these players surprised you the most? And of course, if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button.